Wonderful.
I think it's working now.
It definitely is. Thank you so very much. I'm going to introduce you and then we can start.
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So I'm using Canva. So if I have to get out of this box, when I'm in Canva, can y'all see me or is it just my presentation?
No, we can see you. You'd have to present, and then you'd be able to do it that way.
Got it. Okay.
Perfect. We can see your presentation now. Wonderful. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for being in the session. Our next presentation explores how artificial intelligence can transform learning support in underserved contexts through targeted data-informed interventions. Presenting Using Artificial Intelligence to Personalize RTI interventions in rural middle school settings is Lorraine Carrizales from Texas A&M University in Kingsville. Amy is an accomplished instructional leader with over a decade of experience in secondary education. She currently serves as a secondary curriculum director and instructional coach at Freer ISD, leading professional development, academic interventions, and data-driven instructional improvement. A Texas designated master teacher and doctoral candidate in higher education leadership, Amy brings a passion for equity, innovation, and servant leadership to every initiative she leads. Amy, the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Amy Carrizales, and today I will be presenting my study titled Integrating Artificial Intelligence into Response to Intervention, a Quantitative Study in Rural Middle Schools. This research will explore how AI tools can be used within RTI frameworks to enhance data-driven decision-making and improve reading outcomes for students in rural settings. Rural middle schools in Texas continue to face persistent reading achievement gaps, especially following the pandemic and Texas's statewide standardized reading assessment redesign. Many schools in these rural areas may have limited access to instructional resources, professional learning opportunities, and real-time data tools that will help teachers make timely intervention decisions. Many schools in these rural areas may have limited access to instructional resources and the professional learning opportunities, and so this study is extremely beneficial. This lack of data support impacts how effectively teachers identify and address learning needs through response to intervention. This figure shows Texas's statewide STAR reading results for grades 3 through 8 over the last 4 years. Even as outcomes improved from 2021 to 2022 and then leveled, a substantial percentage of students still remain below grade level. I would also like to add that the state of Texas implemented a redesign of the STAR reading assessment in 2022. The purpose of this study will be to examine how artificial intelligence tools can be integrated into RTI frameworks in rural schools. Specifically, I will look at how AI relates to teacher decision-making, data literacy, and student reading growth. The study will compare student MAP growth data from a pre-AI year to an AI implementation year, analyzing whether integrating AI contributes to improved reading outcomes. To truly understand how artificial intelligence impacts teaching and learning, we have to ask what changes first, the student outcomes, the teacher behaviors, or the system itself. The first question focuses on students and asks whether AI-supported RTI leads to measurable improvements in reading growth. The hypothesis predicts that students in the AI implementation year will show higher MAP growth scores than those in the pre-AI year. The second question shifts to teachers and examines how unified theory of acceptance and use of technology factors like performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, and facilitating conditions relate to teachers' data literacy. The hypothesis predicts that teachers with stronger UT, AUT factors will demonstrate greater data literacy. The third question connects data literacy to practice, predicting that teachers with higher data literacy will make stronger instructional decisions across RTI tiers. Together, these questions and hypotheses create the foundation for a quantitative model that links AI use, teacher behavior, and student outcomes in rural middle schools. While AI use in education will continue to grow, very few studies focus on rural schools or how AI operates within structured intervention systems like RTI. Much of the existing research has examined AI in personalized learning, but not as a decision support tool for teachers. This study will help fill that gap by providing quantitative data on AI's integration within a rural RTI framework. This study will use two complementary frameworks, cultural historical activity theory and the unified theory of acceptance and use of technology. Chat will help examine AI as a systemic mediating artifact, meaning how the tool interacts with teachers, students, and instructional processes. AUT will explain teacher behavior and adoption, focusing on beliefs about usefulness, ease of use, peer influence, and access to training or support. Together, these frameworks will provide both a macro level and a micro level understanding of AI integration. The study will employ a quantitative correlational repeated measures design. The design will allow me to examine relationships among teacher factors and compare student reading growth across 2 years. The repeated measures component will track the same cohort of students from beginning of the year to middle of the year to the end of year, both before and after AI integration. There will also be two main data sources in this study. First, student map growth data will measure reading progress across both school years. Second, a teacher survey will collect data on 4 UT-AUT constructs: performance expectancy, effort expectancy, social influence, and facilitating conditions, along with teacher data literacy and decision-making quality. Together, these sources will provide a comprehensive look at both teacher behavior and student outcomes. The study will be conducted in a rural middle school serving grades 6 through 8. Teachers have received training on how to use AI tools for instructional planning. They will then complete surveys measuring their perceptions and practices. Student data will come from the same cohort over 2 years, 1 year before AI use and 1 during implementation. This rural context was chosen because it highlights unique challenges such as smaller staff sizes and limited access to professional development. Based on existing literature, I expect to find potential relationships between AI integration and teacher data literacy, meaning AI tools may help teachers interpret and apply student data more effectively. Additionally, I expect that classrooms using AI will show different growth patterns in reading compared to prior years, though findings will be interpreted cautiously given the correlational nature of the study. If supported, the findings will help school leaders understand how AI tools can assist teachers in making more data-informed decisions, particularly in rural settings. They will also inform professional development models that combine AI training with data literacy instruction. More broadly, this research will highlight how systemic and behavioral factors influence technology's role in improving instructional precision. In summary, this study will examine the integration of AI within RTI as both a tool for instructional decision-making and a framework for teacher adoption. By analyzing student growth data alongside teacher survey results, the research will seek to deepen understanding of AI's role in supporting equitable outcomes for rural learners. Thank you for your time, and I welcome any questions or discussion.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It's very interesting to obviously see you experiencing similar, I want to say, issues that we ourselves experience here in the global south. So very, very interesting. And I believe that many people listening here will have had really good takeaways from this session. I had a question to ask while others are thinking about their questions, Amy.
Okay.
So how do you think that you would like to ensure that AI use in education enhances contextual intelligence rather than just procedural efficiency? Um, I don't know if I'm making myself clear, but if I'm not, basically, how can we adapt the frameworks to remain sensitive to the social, emotional, and cultural realities, especially in the teaching context that you're specifically talking about?
Yes, I feel like this study, um, it's ideal for real world school settings, and I think that over during the during this study, the year over year growth without manipulating variables, it will give us a better understanding of where we're headed and how to continue to refine areas in order to ensure the validity of what we're working with here. And I'm still working with this, and I'm still in my chapters 1 and 2 and 3, and so I'm still learning as I go. And so I'm hoping that just the real world school settings, and this study, it's going to be a very big help.
Absolutely. I think it's fascinating, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that the data and information that you gather along your learning journey.
Yes, I'm
Um,
so excited.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's okay. I was just saying I was excited. I'm excited.
I'm glad to hear that as well. Do we have further questions in the audience? Okay, just double checking the chat. I did have a question. It's perhaps when I see the word rural, obviously we have a type of understanding of rural that might be different to yours. But I think it is contextually relevant for those of us that are listening to this conversation. I know, for instance, when I look at the people in the chat, we've got a few people from South Africa, and then we've got someone from Zambia, and we've been speaking about rural context in general. When we talk about rural context from a Texas space, um, what do you mean by that, just to help us get a better understanding of what you're having to deal with?
Yes, absolutely. And so specifically, we're considered South Texas. So we're about 45 minutes from the Mexico and Texas border. And so it's definitely a whole different type of culture here. And specifically, the rural schools in our area, they're basically in the middle of nowhere, and people that live in the community have to drive a good distance, between an hour to 2 hours, possibly three, in order to get groceries, to have any access to city or urban living. And so, specifically in the town that I'm working with, Freer, we have one light, and that's basically where the main traffic will go through. Just limited access to city living is, I guess, the best way that I could describe it.
Okay, that's very interesting. And then I assume that because it's quite far removed from the city, you only have a handful of educators that are working in those environments.
Yes, and that's a whole other issue that we're faced with. Teacher retention and recruitment is very difficult because we are in the middle of nowhere, and so it's come down to where school districts are having to basically develop programs where they grow their own, and so students who are interested in the teaching or education profession, that the school districts are helping them with like local universities in programs to grow them so that after they graduate from our high school that they're coming back to teach. And so if we lay out all of the statistics of who we have teaching here, they're all homegrown. For example, I grew up in Freer, Texas. I went to college. I went away, did what I had to do, and I came back. And that's kind of the concept for everyone. And it's pretty much like that for most rural schools where it's our own people in our community that are staying here and continuing teaching for our community.
It's like you read my mind. That was going to be my next question. With it being rural, do the people stay or do they leave? Because I know here in South Africa, in more of the, I want to say, removed towns, a lot of people, it's their dream to leave, but many do return. So I see that that's exactly what's happening in your rural spaces.
Yes, absolutely. And it's kind of crazy because here we have like this tagline where it's little town, big dreams. And so it's kind of like we've just been instilled and instilling it in our community and our children that yes, we may be small and rural, but we have the opportunities here in our district to literally help anyone go anywhere they would like to. The pathways that we offer them, we partner with Texas A&M University Kingsville, and they're just doing everything they can to continue to keep our people inspired. And yes, people are staying here. You have teachers that have been here 40 plus years. We have Grow Your Own Pathways, and we now have PTech, which basically we're paying for them to go to college, but coming back and teaching here after they're done with it. Because it's been an issue to get people to come to our town.
It's a big sigh from me because, we always have these preconceptions of how things are very different in other places, but in a tiny little way, at least we all understand where you're coming from, having experienced similar things on our side. Again, I just want to thank you so much for sharing your experience and sharing your thoughts and your research with us, Amy. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it develops further.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Brilliant, thank you. And Slamolo Moja, I see you've been given a